Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to talk about one of the most amazing moments in history. I can't think of many events that were so profound, and yet, in so many ways, so overlooked. Christmas, 1914. The world had been embroiled in World War I already. Europe was at war. The English and the Allies and the Germans were all in their trenches. They were very close to each other, shooting at each other, finding ways to kill each other, bombing each other, eventually using gas against each other. It was horrific, terrible war. And, well, Christmas Day, the British heard singing. They heard Silent Night being sung by the Germans. And the Germans eventually heard Silent Night being sung by the British. And both sides, cautiously at first, got out of their trenches, holding up their hands, and walked to each other, and embraced each other. They sang together, traded food and coffee, had a soccer game. Now, you have to understand the absolute horror that all the military leaders on both sides felt by this, because the soldiers were at peace, but the nations were at war. In my mind, in my perfect fantasy of the world, this was the day that World War I should have ended. Because you see, World War I had no bad guys. World War I was groups of brothers. People that weren't very different. People that celebrated the same holidays. And on that Christmas Day in 1914, the true spirit of humanity was shared until they were forced back into fighting and forced back to kill each other. Sad. You know, things like this would never ever happen again. It was a certain sense of civility that no longer exists. But on that winter Christmas Day, the British and the Germans left their weapons behind and became comrades. I think that this event should be talked about more. Every time we talk about the horror of war, we should talk about the angels of the battlefield that let their better nature show the way, and to show some human kindness to each other in amongst the horrors and travesty of war. Never happened again. And in my mind, it never will. But truly, that is the day it should have stopped.